Transmission from an unknown sector. An urgent transmission interrupted a routine council meeting. The automated voice of the galactic communication system blared across the chamber, overriding discussions on mundane administrative matters. Incoming transmission from an unidentified species, the system announced. Council leader Thak Quasar Basa, a towering figure with shifting luminescent skin, exhaled in frustration. Another one? That's the third unidentified transmission this cycle. Probably some primitive race panicking after discovering quantum communication. A junior officer attempted to route the transmission to standard diplomatic channels, but the system denied the request. Unable to comply, it responded almost hesitantly. Transmission is utilizing all encrypted emergency channels simultaneously. The council chamber filled with murmurs. Emergency channels were reserved for extinction-level threats. Never in recorded history had all of them been activated at once. "Impossible," muttered an ambassador, her feathered antenna twitching. "No species should even know these channels exist, let alone access them all at once." "Identify the source," ordered the council leader, his skin shifting to a tense indigo. "Origin, third planet of the Sol system. Designation Earth." A scoff came from the mechanoid representative. "That primitive world? They've barely unified their planet, let alone advanced beyond their moon." Yet, the transmission remained active. The order was given to display it. The massive holographic screen flickered, revealing an unfamiliar species bipedal, exposed facial features, and clad in synthetic coverings. A woman spoke in flawless standard galactic. "Greetings, Galactic Council. My name is Commander Maya Rodriguez of Earth. We know you've classified us as too primitive for contact, but that's irrelevant now. We're under attack." Behind her, explosions rocked the feed. Sparks flew. Human personnel scrambled in controlled urgency. "The entity you know as the Void Collective has breached our system. Our outer defenses are falling. We estimate planetary defenses will collapse within 2 days." A mechanoid council member jumped to his feet. "Impossible. The Void Collective is contained within the quantum barrier of the Andromeda Galaxy." Maya's expression hardened. "Tell that to them. If we fall, you're next. We've transmitted all data on their new capabilities. Do what you want with it, but if you don't act now, you won't have time to regret it." The transmission cut. A stunned silence settled over the chamber. "Verify," the council leader commanded. Minutes later, alarms rang out across the council headquarters. The quantum barrier monitoring stations had detected an anomaly consistent with an external breach. An emergency session commenced. Debate raged for hours. Some council members dismissed the humans' claims as manipulation. Others saw undeniable proof. The reptilian admiral narrowed her gaze. "If the void has breached containment, we cannot afford doubt." The mechanoid representative shook his metallic head. "We don't gamble the fate of the galaxy on a primitive species." Quasar Besa raised his hands for silence. "There is a compromise. We send a single envoy with a small, heavily armed escort to verify their claims. If it's a trap, the ship self-destructs." Skepticism filled the room. "Who would volunteer for that?" From the shadows, a deep voice rumbled. "I will." The room turned to Ambassador Krell Knox of the Obsidian Concordat, an ancient, secretive race known for their enigmatic past. Knox stepped forward, his crystalline form absorbing the light. "My people remember the Void Wars. We have unfinished business." The vote was cast. The decision was made. Knox would go. Knox's quantum-shifted vessel materialized over Earth, immediately engaging stealth protocols. His sensors processed the carnage. The skies burned. Shattered space stations drifted. Planetary defenses fought desperately against an overwhelming force. The AI reported, "Void presence confirmed. Earth survival probability, 18%. Knox absorbed the data. Even in the face of total annihilation, the humans were still fighting. "Locate the source of the transmission." A heavily fortified underground facility NORAD was holding out, but its defenses were failing. Knox descended. Inside, alarms blared. When the airlock opened, heavily armed humans aimed their weapons at him. "Hold fire," Rodriguez ordered, stepping forward with confidence. "Ambassador Knox, I presume. You made good time." Knox was momentarily taken aback. No fear, no submission, only resolve. "You recognize me?" She smirked. "The Concordat is hard to miss. Also, we've been monitoring Council transmissions for decades." "Sorry about that." Another explosion shook the bunker. Dust rained down. Maya checked her wrist device. "We've got less than 30 minutes before their next wave. General Park is waiting. Let's move." Knox followed, observing the humans. Bloodied, exhausted. Yet they moved with purpose. He had expected panic. Instead, one soldier grinned at him as they passed. The Council had miscalculated. Drastically. In a war room deep underground, human commanders detailed their last stand. They had found weaknesses in the Void's new technology, but their forces were stretched too thin. "We need your fleet," General Park said bluntly. "All of it. Now." Knox hesitated. "The Council will never commit to such a risk." "Then you all die," Park said. "First us. Then you." Maya leaned forward. "We're not asking you to save Earth. That ship has sailed. We're asking you to take what we've learned. Use our technology. Use our people. Stop them before they consume everything." Knox was silent. Then he spoke. "The Council classified you as primitive. How did you develop this level of technology without detection?" A grim smile. "We've had outside help. And we've spent a century preparing for the worst." Another explosion rocked the facility. The humans didn't flinch. "Your call, Ambassador," Park said. "Will you help us fight, or will you watch us die?" Knox returned to the Council. The evidence was undeniable. The Void was here, and the humans against all logic were holding them back. The debate was cut short when alarms blared across the Council chambers. Void collective signatures detected in Council space. Estimated time to invasion, 72 hours. Maya's transmission came through. She looked worse than before, bloodied and exhausted. "Council leader, you're out of time. We've got a fleet inbound. ET at 12 minutes. "Impossible," a mechanoid leader exclaimed. "Your planet is under siege. What fleet could you possibly—" Maya laughed, a sound without humor. "You thought Earth was our only world? We've had colonies for decades. We knew you'd never help us, so we helped ourselves." Her voice hardened. "Requesting permission to enter Council space and engage the enemy. Or do you want to argue protocol while your homeworld burns?" A long silence. Then the Council leader spoke. "Permission granted, Commander." And "Thank you." "Save the thanks," Maya said. "Just be ready to fight." 12 minutes later, space itself shattered. The human fleet arrived. The war for the galaxy had begun.